Okay, on this video we're going to talk about thoracic spine mobility and back mobility. Okay, extremely important in terms of generating power, maintaining effective posture, and if you struggle to have good thoracic mobility, you're going to really struggle to recruit most of the major sort of muscles in the body, and certainly movement patterns will be restricted. So a really simple one to start off with is to mobilise the lower back, windscreen wipers. What we do, lie down, okay, arms out wide. We start with heels in on the floor and we just roll from side to side, keeping the shoulders flat. We could take that into 90 degrees with the legs, and again, keeping the shoulders and everything flat down and rotating, or we could take that into straight legs and rotating one way and rotating the other way. Okay? We could also take that into big eccentric stretches, mobilising up like that. You can also use a band to help hold that kind of mobility. Okay. Another really good one for the thoracic spine now to increase rotation is you want to grab a little pillow. Okay. Want to place something in your legs. So we're going to lie down, hips up at 90 degrees. Okay. Cushion, something like that, just so you can squeeze and keep those hips and legs flat. Arms out at 90 degrees, shoulder height, and from there we want to rotate around and come back in. Rotate around, come back in like that. Start then following it with your head. Keeping that underarm nice and flat. Okay. So now when we start looking at thoracic mobility, extension is very important. We can start off by doing that hanging, holding on to the end of a mat or anything that you want, and start pulling back. And that in itself is going to start driving a bit of thoracic extension. Okay, we're going to add a little bit of height to that and start changing a little bit of viewpoints with the back, with the head. Okay. If we then start looking at how the thoracic moves, it moves in two different ways and two different combinations, which is called Frett's law. Okay, you've got type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is an opposite movement, so that will be a, let's say, a left rotation, okay, and then a right lateral flexion. So it will be that type of movement. Okay, type 2 is the same, which will be most kind of sports movements. So think of a golf or a hockey swing. Okay, type 2, which is the same, which will be a left, rotation and a left lateral flexion, and that's predominantly found in gait. Okay, so we can now start driving them in a closed position, and by closed I mean we're going to fix the arms. Okay, so I can start driving a little bit of left rotation and right lateral flexion. Am I doing it that way? So that now is a type 1 movement, or I can go back like that, and now that's a type 2 movement to the left side. If I want to make that type 2 to the right side, I hold on with the left hand and I rotate back with the right. And if I want to make that a type 1 opposite, I hold on with the right and I reach underneath with the left. Okay, if we now want to make that into an open movement, I like to use a pole to help drive. So, we start off simply by fixing ourselves in position and increasing rotation or lateral flexions. Okay. Either side, or similarly you could start adding a bit of extension and start incorporating that with a rotation, and we start incorporating that with a lateral lean. If we want to start going on the left leg and we want to do a type 1 opposite, so we could lunge and come up over that left shoulder, arms straight, core braced, Type 1 opposite on the right, up over that right shoulder. If we want to do type 2, we start above the head, step with the left, we're going to lean and pull back, like that. And to the right. Okay, so really simple ways to drive thoracic mobility. Extremely important to really focus on the rotation. If we consider any transverse movement, any rotational movement as power, okay, a failure to be able to rotate fully, okay, will significantly inhibit rotational and power development throughout the whole body. If we consider retraction and protraction in the shoulders as a transverse movement, if I was to protract my arms and rotate, I can only go that far. If I'm to retract, I can increase my distance, I can rotate considerably. So shoulder retraction, again, we did in the shoulder mobility video, squeezing and retracting the shoulder blades in a press-up position or plank position, or even on your knees, just working that shoulder isolation, and that's going to help as well incorporate rotation into the rest of the body. Glute mobility, again, everything's all linked up. So if we're looking at generating increased movement in the thoracic, look at the shoulders, look at the hips, try to put the pieces together as why there might be a restriction there. Thank you.